So, what is the pattern that you had during that lifetime that they were talking about with Anubis?
Mm, This happens later on as well, because after I get rid of this being, then I go back into this to the tent I see, and then he's in this process of recovery, and he's a bit angry with me, but I keep visiting him, and there's other forces that we need to take care of as well, so we just sort of stay in this place. And so the battle's over, and everyone's kind of appears to be, disappointed in me. But, I go to Anubis a lot, and then I look out for him and help to heal him and whatnot. And then we share this, I see we begin to share this connection with one another, like on a deeper level. And, I like he likes me. He starts to like me. And then I start to like him as well. And I guess that's where that sort of begins. But I see that we like each other, as these sort of battles progress, and we go to one battle and another battle and another battle. We're traveling from place to place to all of these different places and then liberating them. And I see that there's like this connection that forms, and like I begin to have a relationship with him, but like I think I ask the being that I came with for permission with this, because the Elohim beings, I think they're like polyamorous. So I ask him for permission with that. Apollo, I ask him for permission, and he just sort of says yes. This is okay. It's okay with him. So I feel like maybe on these journeys I travel to meet Apollo astrally, and then and ask him for permission through with that, because I think there's a relationship that develops as we travel around. And he doesn't want people to know what he looks like, but I know what he looks like. I don't really care. He just looks like, one of those elf beings. And so, we fight in these battles, and then we go back to the tent sort of area, and then and I can see that there's like this vulnerability that starts to emerge with him, and he's very like stoic at first, but then and I get to know him, he's very sensitive and very loving. And then so that appears to take place, and not like I'm sort of in this healing role. I see that I'm healing him, that I'm, after each of these battles, then I'm telling him off for putting himself at risk, and, and then healing him again, healing all of these cuts on his body. I get like upset with him for putting himself in harm's way all of the time. And he sort of gets embarrassed because I'm a bit like smothering. But then we sort of have a relationship that I see. And, I don't know if anyone knows about it. I don't know if any of the other soldiers or anyone knows about it. I think the other ETs definitely they know about it. They know about it. They know that, he's always in my tent because, he gets injured, and then I'm like, okay, well, you basically park yourself in here now so I can take care of you. So I take care of him, and then, I do all of these sort of things, like I'm a healer as well, and I heal him with my hands. I heal all his cuts and whatnot. And then I heal him emotionally as well. So do this thing where I sort of like he gets like a bit of like, PTSD sort of a thing. So I'm just seeing that, like, I sort of hold him very close, and then, put all of these healing energies around him, and then he stops shaking. He stops shaking. And then he's he's not so angry with me anymore. Well, it wasn't like he was angry. It was just that I feel that, like I was just like looking out for him a bit too much. It was just embarrassing. Like I'm seeing that, like, I kind of he goes out and, he goes into battle, and, I see that there's this big sort of thing coming to get him, and then I'm like, stop whatever I'm doing and then go and take care of whatever that thing is. And he just sort of, in his armor, he just turns around and looks at me like, like, I've got it, you don't need to be doing this all of the time. And I just sort of, yeah, it's it's quite funny. It's quite funny because um I feel like he he feels like, he likes me a lot, but, I'm a little bit too um in your face sort of a thing about it. I'm a bit smothering. He doesn't want anyone to see that, he obviously doesn't want the enemy to see that he's weak. Let's just put it that way.
Is there anything that from that lifetime and that experience with Anubis that needs to be released and integrated for this lifetime?
Hmm. Yeah, because I'm seeing that I I did do the wrong thing towards the end when we weren't on this sort of war mission anymore. And I went, he went his his separate way and I went my separate way. And this I'll get the higher self to have this perspective because I feel like a little bit confused by this, by what I'm seeing. I'll just let the higher self to, if we can ask the conscious mind to recede fully.
Yeah, so if the conscious mind can recede fully and allow the higher self to come in to answer the question that what needs to be released or integrated from that experience with Anubis.
Mm. It's because the relationship wasn't what she wanted it to be. So there was an incident where he, after all of these battles took place, he wanted to continue on with a sexual relationship with her, but she was not always I guess up for this all of the time. But she was at that point in time, and they were doing things in the tent, and she very much had a loving connection with him in this situation. However, when she moved away from that, there was other beings that she involved herself with, and he felt a longing for this connection again, but he could not communicate effectively with her. He could not communicate this desire effectively within himself. So I'm seeing that he just stalked her one day. And well, not stalked, but he followed her while he made his physical body, he shifted dimensions so he was not visible. And then while she was around the temples of Egypt, he followed her into one of these when she was just wandering around in the night. She couldn't sleep, so she was wandering around. And then he followed her into this, and this was long after the conflict situation took place. And then he reappeared himself like, it's me again. And she was very surprised, and she was like, okay, it's nice to see you again. But then he was telling her telepathically, I'm still very interested in you. And he knew that she had somewhat, she was having other relationships at that time, and she had moved on from that time point in that particular lifetime. And then so what he did was he activated her sacral chakra and looked into her eyes and did this sort of it's hard to describe this psychic ability where one is he took away her inhibitions, like made her in a drunken state with psychic ability, and then activated the sacral chakra. And this was very she did not feel really respected in this sense. She wished that he would be able to ask her and communicate this with her in a better way, but did this instead because he didn't know how to deal with his feelings. So there was this sort of thing that happened, and this took place, and then there was a sexual interaction. And then she was left afterwards feeling very much like she had been taken advantage of. And so her feelings were upset, but she loved this being, but she decided to cut him off. she decided to cut him off and not talk to him. And this was very upsetting for her. And she regretted it greatly, that she did the wrong thing and she should have just talked to him. This was a communication mistake. And she was dealing with her feelings of feeling very embarrassed and overbearing because of what was happening in the conflict in that particular lifetime, how she made mistakes. There was all sorts of different feelings that went into this. And Anubis is here. He knows what went on. It's perfectly fine. And we have actually forgiven this. However, the pattern still comes into place because she feels shame and she feels unworthy. She cuts them off. And because if she feels a little bit offended by anything that they did, she cuts them off. So this is very much her coming to terms with the divine masculine as well. So I'm just going to release this for her so she can understand where these complicated feelings come from, and then release some of this so she doesn't have to replay it again and again. She will have more chances to figure things out with the masculine again and again. She does not have to repeat this. She can do it differently this time.
So this time, what advice do you have her when she comes up against events like that, where she starts to feel the unworthiness or closing herself off? What do you advise for her to do in those moments?
Just know that she is always loved and she will always be safe. She feels like she is not safe because of the things that have happened to her. She feels like she is a target, and so she closes herself off. But she needs to open up and open up to the masculine, because when she closes herself off, then they close themselves off to her, and it makes it very hard to communicate with each other what each other's feelings are. It's okay for her to tell someone, I love you. It's okay to say those words. Even if they do not hear it, you can still say it, and it is good. You need to say those words more often. She is even afraid to say those words. I love you to a man.
I understand with what has happened in this past life and with her current life that she's experiencing, why that would be there. Will the upgrades and the healing that you're giving her right now and the opening up, will that help for this lifetime and the past lifetime?
Yes, this is why Eros is here, to give this activation within me as well, within the lower self, because I am in this healed position, but she is needing to open up to love on this greater level. And this is something that she will be working on for some time. But if she starts to do it now, and she starts to do it in a physical sense with men in her life, because it's easy for her to love Apollo or her guides or Eros or any of these beings. It's very, very easy for her to do this, but it's very, very hard for her to love in a physical body, masculine in a physical body. She gets very confused. She doesn't know what to do. And we need to be able to take this unconditional love and then pull it into the body. And so this is what Eros is doing. He is assisting with this. And especially with the damage of the sexual organ. And she was feeling very confused with this. There is so much distortion on the earth plane to do with the masculine and feminine interacting with each other. It is so confusing for the body complex. The body did not feel safe when she experienced this trauma in the past. The soul evacuated the body, and the body complex was left on its own. So the body has a lot of trauma to do with being left on its own because she got traumatized, she evacuated the body. So we are just bringing her more into this. And she was not connecting with the sexual organ. She was just forgetting about it. She did not even want to touch this for some time. Well, not touch, but her soul, her physical, her energetic essence was not touching this part of the body. It was sitting just above this part of the body and not going into the root and into the complete soul star chakra. She was not, the energetic body was just floating above because it got scared of this connection in this area. There was a lot of grief, a lot of confusion. And Apollo, he has done a lot of work with this to help her back into the body to continue this process. But she needs to be in the body. She needs to be upgrading the body. She needs to be in the body. She needs to not be abandoning the sexual organ and leaving the body to just do whatever. She needs to be fully present in awareness when she is in relationship. She needs to be present in her awareness and not afraid to express the love that would come from source through her. There is this disconnect with it all. She has been traumatized through this lifetime. So I am just going to disconnect that now. That, what would you call it? This angst about going into the body. I'm going to integrate this more for her. And Eros is here as well to give the pink ray of activation. And she is feeling uncomfortable with this. She feels uncomfortable with his beingness, this one Eros. She feels uncomfortable here on the bed right now because he is healing this sexual organ with love. And she is feeling like she does not deserve this, that this is too much for her. I'm just reminding her this is a part of you. This is a part of love. This is a part of your journey. You can be in a sexual relationship with divine masculine. It is part of your path to do so. And he is just providing this activation for her. But also he wants to give this message that it is time for the integration of the masculine and the feminine. Too long we have been against each other, and this will not do in the new age what goes ahead. This will not do. In order to switch on the sexual part of the crystalline body structure, in order to evolve as a species, we need to come together and acknowledge the feminine and the masculine within each other, within the body and within the other bodies, the other selves. And this organ needs to be switched on. We cannot be dealing with shame anymore. Shame in the body complex to do with sexuality. We cannot be, this was something that was seeded in darkness, that was seeded from oppressive religious backgrounds and seeded into the earth plane. This is not Christian, this concept. Okay, the one known as Jesus did not bring this shame to the sexual organ, the sexual complex. Okay, everything is one with God. This is what Eros is saying. Everything is one with God. Yes, even the sexual act is, especially the sexual act is one with God. So in order to bring this in, we need to understand, we need to bring God into this. Okay, it is not difficult, well, in the soul to begin to explore this. All it needs is a different perspective, if you will, on sexuality. For many years, there has been so much shame attached to this. It's time for the shame to go. It is time for the shame to leave. And he is helping her with this. He is assisting this shame to leave the body complexes, the spirit complexes, the sexual organs.
I understand and appreciate so much you bringing that message of for us about shame and the way our bodies were meant to operate in union with God. And but do we need to be careful of the energy of the type of partner we let into our sexual energy field, or is that not a time anymore? Can we just be with anybody?
It is important for you to select which mate is appropriate for you as well. We have stopped her from selecting ones which would not be appropriate for her and stopped that from taking place. But you need to go into your heart and figure out who is the right person for you. And also, there are some telltale signs that you can look out for if that person, their sexual body complex has, well, it is harboring discordant energies. Okay, so in most humans, this is the case, but you can do healings and clearings with people before doing the sexual act, not during. You need to do this before doing this with someone. Just get the permission from their higher self to just help to clear some of these energies, just so that they don't jump onto you during the sexual act. Because as this can come in, sometimes these discordant energies can jump onto your sacral energy center and start to feed off of this. So this is what people would know as entities and so forth. This can be sexually transmitted to each other. But really, these are often just discordant parasitic sort of energies that they do not have a soul spark of their own. And they are just sort of consciousness, discordant pieces of consciousness. So when these are cleared, and you can assist your partner with this, if they are willing to do so, you can assist with this. But as well, just bringing that real love into it, because Eros is just telling me that humans hate themselves. This is the problem. Humans hate themselves, and this goes into their sexual life and causes them such shame that they forget to bring they do not bring spirit into the act. They do not bring spirit into the act. It is left purely physical, like the other person is just masturbating with the other one's body. And this is Eros is just telling me that this going forward, you will figure out what is discordant and then what is not, what is in tune with the divine in regards to this. He says that the sexual act just needs to be thought of completely differently entirely, and that it is best to not have sex with people who do not actually realize that you have a soul, who are so focused in the physical that they are just viewing you as a body. He's saying that this is not the type of partner that you want. These people will they will pass away when they need to pass away, and then they will go on to a different sort of physical 3D existence where they can learn the lessons which they need. But you do not, what you are searching for in a partner is this connection, and she has difficulty with this connection. I'm just explaining to him that she has difficulty to try and find this connection. And then he's just telling me that this connection is something that needs to be developed within yourself before you go and have sex with another. This oneness within yourself. And this is very important. And he is now just giving her an activation to do with this so that she can begin that process into unconditional love more rapidly. But she will need to do this in the physical world as well. She cannot just leave this in the spiritual sense. She will need to go into the physical world and to experiment with someone and who is on that same wavelength as her. When she finds this out within herself and just lets that love blossom out and brings this love from the heart area and then pull it down into the lower chakras, pull it down, pull this higher energy, this beautiful energy, and then pull it down. And she knows the way, she knows how to do this, but this is like just a stumbling block for her.
So how is the integration of all of that with her body going right now?
Yes, she's integrating into this. She was feeling a little bit uncomfortable when the pink ray, the ray of unconditional love, was focused on her lower centers, but she will get used to it. She will get used to this. She is afraid of her own power in these centers. And I am just removing this fear for her. Just going to remove this fear, because she has actually a lot of power within the Kundalini centers, within the masculine and the feminine energy centers that curl around each other as a creator Elohim being. And she was scared of this. She was scared of letting this take over. But it's okay when the body is in balance. This does not take over. This does not take over. You will not feel this taking over.
That's beautiful. Are there any final messages from any of the beings today before we close out today's session?
This energy, this love from source, just simply needs to be pulled down into these energy centers, these sexual energy centers. We need to bring love into this dark place of humanity, and this will transform this energy of lust into a higher vibrational perspective. Well, not that, but it will transform it into, alchemize this energy center into something that is in harmony with the universe itself. This is what we are doing, and this is what we want to impress upon the peoples, is this feeling of love within the sexual, because this is a part of God. If we just start with this before we even get into, well, the creation energies and how that works, we just want humanity to just feel love in these lower energy centers, and to be able to say, I love you, is very, very powerful to the one that you love. If you just say, I love you from the heart, this is enough to start a change within your own body and within your own soul. Just to say, I love you. Just to say this. And already it is clearing her body. Already, just by saying, I love you.
Mm.
The words are magic, and you can use this. And she feels emotion within this center now. It's clearing. I feel like donking her on the head, because all she needed to say was, I love you. It's just all of this emotion is flowing out.
Mm. I'm grateful that she has had this opportunity to get this integration now and to get the understanding of what the tools in her toolbox to be able to navigate her experiences moving forward. I know you may feel like in donking her on the head, but it's also being here in the world and experiencing these things with less of a connection with you guys, our higher selves. It can feel very dense at times where simple tools are hard to reach or hard to see for us. We just get caught in the density. So thank you for providing her tools today. Thank you for providing her healing. She deserves it. She's a beautiful soul. And I appreciate everyone who came on this journey with us today and shared their experiences and helped us along the way.
And we love you, and we are happy to say that. It brings us great joy.
Thank you. We love you too.
Thank you.